Raise your hand if you were raised in a Christian home. Okay. And then now raise your hand if you've ever heard of the story of Daniel and the lion's den. So oftentimes people get so caught up with the title of the Bible or the title of a story or a character that we forget what the story really means. And many of the books in the Bible have relevance in the world and historical meaning instead of just the Bible itself. So I haven't always been Christian, and a lot of times before I became a Christian, I really divulged into other religions. And the first time I actually heard of Daniel, other than Lion's Den, was in a class on world religions, which was actually focusing on the Islam faith. So if we have a more open-minded approach to stories in the Bible and stories in major religious texts, we can really open our minds to what they're really trying to say instead of getting so bogged down with the religious dogmas around each religion itself. So when we analyze the relevance of Daniel in both historical context as well as looking at it from another world religion, we can move past Daniel as a Christian character and really look at him as a historical figure. So much of the world now, we really place Islam and Christianity against each other in opposition, and it seems so divided, but in reality there's a lot of aspects that are sort of similar and related. Islam actually recognizes Daniel, which is a prophet in the Bible as well, but they refer to him as Daniel, which means the great judge. And although Daniel and the lion's den, the story itself isn't mentioned in the Quran, which is the major Islamic text, they do refer to a story which is called the Dul Qur'an, and a book named The Secrets of Daniel, J. Dukan refers to this story, or he discusses the fact that the vision of the Dul Qur'an is actually based on the vision of Daniel 8, which is found in the Bible. So it's two major world religions, two different texts, but the same story, or the same basis. And one of the major historical rulers of the Islamic faith was Caliph Omar, and he started the Baha'i movement, which Islam associates the prophecies of Daniel with the Caliph Omar, and with the movement that he was trying to start. So here we see that there's two completely different world religions, and we really seem so divided with the two across the world. But in reality, there's a lot of things that are similar about them, especially in the book of Daniel. And then if we take a step back, and we're not really looking at world religions, we're just looking at Daniel in a historical context, we find a lot of extra biblical sources that really support the stories of Daniel and the character of Daniel himself. So if we look at the Babylonian Chronicles, we see here, it is a cuneiform tablet, and it discusses the whole history of Babylon from 747 to 247 BC, which was the time that the book of Daniel took place. But it was written by Babylonian astrologers, which were not religious at the time, and if anything, they were prosecuting Daniel. And they confirm all the events that Daniel speaks about in his book. Then there's also the Cylinder of Nabonidus, which confirms the tales that Daniel tells of the reconstruction of the pagan temples, as well as the rulers that Daniel names in the book itself, which at one point was a topic of controversy between the accuracy of Daniel. And then we also have Flavius Josephus, which is a non-Christian. He was actually a Jewish historian from the 1st century, and he supports the author of the book as well as the content of the book itself. So here we see an Islamic point of view as well as a historical point of view, and we can see that Daniel has more relevance than just in the Bible, but in the world itself. And although this was a really quick, brief overview, a lot more research has to be done to really diverge into the depth of the relevance of Daniel. But it just gives us a quick overview of the relevance that it really has in the world if we just take a step back and don't always look at things from, oh, this is Christian, oh, this is Jewish, this is Islamic. So when we just look at the raw content of the book, it shows us a lot more about the story itself. So there's so much tension in major world religions, but if we really look at things from a more open-minded point of view, we can see that it really is just a story about Daniel, and we can take things that he's trying to tell us in a more historical